Yeah.
Yeah, it's all up in my face.
We should be live now.
Yeah, I'm getting the stream now to pop up down in my Discord.
Cool.
Game up.
Howdy, watchers across the lands and worlds and countries. It's Lord Shu with After5, the podcast. We used to be called that, but now we're called Lifestyle After5. I just want to give a special shout out to the new rebrand and all of our fine peoples here today. So I'll introduce everyone, and we're going to get into our first topic. So we have Ali, as usual.
Oh, it's one and only Ali.
What do you expect him not being here to be weird? Got MD Red.
What up, what up, what up?
What's up, family? We have Vanna, our regular guest host.
Always happy to be back, guys. Always happy.
Love, but appreciate the love. And of
Love.
course, the great Robin Jones. Lovely to have you here. What's good? Again, I'm Lord Shu. I'm just a moderator. I will not be saying much on this podcast, but if you are watching anywhere on our platforms, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, please interact. I will be checking and seeing what y'all saying today. So if you have any questions for any of our guests or the host, please let them know, and I will let them know what y'all are saying. So as we do with every episode, we're going to talk about Black people who changed the game in history, not just our history, but all of history. So we're going to start with Ali, because you know, he's just
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me move. Let me get my screen.
I'm going to throw you in the mix, bro.
You threw me. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being on this panel tonight, because I am not an expert in any of this. As we shout out World Menopause Day. I didn't know it was such a day. So I was like, hey, it's World Menopause Day. Let's celebrate it. And I made a mistake on the social. World Pasta Day is actually on the 25th. So hold your pasta and your spaghetti to next week, and we'll get into that.
I was looking forward to that.
Being that it was World Menopause Day, typically, if you know me, I go find, I'm deep into slavery, overcoming slavery. I go find someone that has overcome slavery and became a millionaire, became successful. But today I was curious to know what it was like for women, enslaved women, doing menopause. Well, having menopause while serving on slavery and having a menstrual cycle. And one of the things I looked at on my reference was ChatGPT was, they was forced to perform physical and demanding labor on the plantation. It was like when men continued to work, even though that they had physical capacity and stamina as they had aged had decreased. So a lot of them use herbs that was named, and I'm not a doctor, so follow your doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. Do your own research. So basically it said that a lot of the enslaved women doing menopause, I'm gonna give you 8 of the herbs that it said that they use. Black cohosh. Black cohosh is a North American herb that has been traditionally used by some indigenous and African-American communities for menopause symptoms like hot flashes and mood swings. And we'll have to put that link under this. I'll send it to you later, Shu. The number 2 herb that they use was red clover. Red clover contains a compound called, I can't even pronounce this, isoflavonoids, which are phytoestrogens. This is big words to me. Some women have used red clover to alleviate hot flashes and night sweats associated with menopause. Number 3 is dong quai, and that's Quai. This herb is used in traditional Chinese medicine and has been suggested for menopause symptoms to relieve, including hot flashes, everything hot flashes and mood swings. So I guess that's the general basis of menopause. And chastity tree berry, it's also known as chastity berry. It is a herb, has a history used for hormonal imbalances, including those related to menopause, sage. This here kind of took me by surprise. Most people, I thought it was just used to get it with burn away bad spirits. But I guess if you got a hot flash and you cramming and you hurting, you was a bad spirit at the time. Just kidding. But sage has been used to address hot flashes and night sweats, of course. It can be made into a tea or culinary preparation. Wild yam contains a compound that are precursor to the hormones like progesterone. It has been suggested for managing hormonal imbalances associated with menopause. And it's number 7 was surprisingly ginseng. Typically men use ginseng, and it's been used to increase energy levels. It also can be beneficial for emotional and physical changes of menopause. And number 8, mother's worth. Mother worth has been used for its calming and soothing properties and may help with mood swings and anxiety during menopause. So, like I said, not a doctor. I'm just going by what a little research, Google search said that some of our ancestors used during their time. And also shout out to the ancestors. I also look what they did during their menstrual cycles, and a lot of them use natural sponges, and a lot of them, because they could sew, they created their own pads for comfort. So that's my take on, I guess, Black history and what our women did, powerful, strong women did during menopause and why they suffered with the normal female problems during slavery.
Digs it. A lot of those herbs I actually heard before, so this is great research, brother.
We'll put those links in now with the caveat that, hey, we're not doctors, we're not herbalists either. Use it at your own, hey, if it works for you, great. It was discovered and we gave you something that can help you overcome your problems, and we were a problem solver. It's not sorry.
Yes, please do research into how to safely use any and all of these herbs, because some are not safe to ingest in certain ways while others are safe to ingest in other ways. So please make sure you do your proper research. Don't unalive yourself trying to relieve some pain. It's not worth it.
And don't listen to a male when it comes to a female problem.
Yeah. Real talk. Thank you for the great insight, brother.
Especially not me.
So, yo, MD Red, what's good, bro? This is your segment, fam. So what's good? What you got for us today?
I mean, I'm gonna do something a little different since it is Menopause Day. I had somebody picked out, but I feel it's more appropriate for me to give a shout out to all the strong Black women from my family. I have been blessed to be around 10 grounded. I'm talking about these women is powerful women, man. Pretty much ran our family. Wasn't a lot of strong males, so I want to give a shout out to all my aunts, my grandma, my great grandmas on both sides, and my mom and my sister, my wife, man. Like, it's a lot of strong women around. So I just want to give it Menopause Day for y'all, awareness, whatever. And my sister, a few years back had ovarian cancer. She's a cancer survivor. So like stuff like that is, it touches me. So I just want to give a shout out to all the strong women from my family. I ain't got to say their names; they know who they are.
Great shout out to definitely second it. And for all y'all that's watching on my personal Facebook page, if you want to catch this episode live, check us out on our After5 Lifestyle Facebook page, or just simply go to YouTube. What is our YouTube? After5 the Lifestyle. After5
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Lifestyle After5 is our new channel.
Okay.
Oh, right. So yeah, Lifestyle After5. You can check us out there if you want to catch this episode instead of seeing my personal live view for watching this.
Yeah, y'all trying to get me teary-eyed up in here, man. Shout out to the ladies for sure. I don't know what's with the back and forth between the genders with the social media, but I stand with the real ones that know that we need each other. So yeah, let's get closer.
I love my organic women.
Yeah, you feel me? the more organic, the better. For sure. All right, so which one of you ladies want to go? If y'all have any. or if y'all just
I-
want to say anything.
I
Well,
have
even-
up the first Black female astronaut,
Mm.
Nice.
May Carol Jemisis, or Jemison, born October 17th, 1956. She actually shares the same birthday as my grandmother, Elaine. Rest in peace, Grandma. I never got to meet you, but thank you for always watching over me. She is the first African American woman to travel to space. She served as a mission specialist for the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. Her father was a mechanical engineer and her mother was a school teacher. She earned her medical degree from Cornell University and became a doctor for the Peace Corps from in 1983 to 1985. She worked as a general practitioner and then worked to become an astronaut for NASA. She left NASA in 1993 and founded a technological research company and later formed an educational non-for-profit organization on the foundation of the principle of the 100-Year Starship Project funded by DARPA. Gemesis has written several children's books and appeared on television several times, including Star Trek Next Generation. Now, I'm not a big Star Trek nerd. I prefer fantasy to space, but that was really cool. And I really wanted to point out a Black figure in NASA that wasn't in Hidden Figures. While I do love that movie, I have some of my favorite actresses in that movie. I really wanted to point this out because we are blessed enough to still share the world with this amazing woman.
Nice.
Very true.
And shout out to Smitty boy. I see him in there
What?
watching.
Smitty watching.
Hey, Smitty, man. Hey, next week we need you on here for pasta, bro.
Hey, we've been trying to get you on, Smitty.
Oh man, he gonna make some spaghetti.
We need you on for pasta next week.
That's a good idea for
I'll let
World
me
Pasta
know.
Day. He makes some spaghetti. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
I'm glad I'm not a host.
But before we get started, let's explain. Did any of you realize that it was World Menopause Day or that it was such a day?
I ain't gonna lie, not till I seen your reel.
Ladies, did y'all realize that?
No, and gonna be honest, that is not what my research is on today. I did research on the women draft and like what the draft
But
is.
but I'm glad you did that. We're gonna tie that into that. This all ties in. There's always a plan.
And if people don't know, I suffer with PCOS. I have had very irregular periods my entire life. I didn't even have my first period till I was 19 years old in college. And that had to be medically induced with birth control. I got off of birth control because I didn't like medication. And my doctors changed my prescription on me without telling me. So I'm working in my life to live a healthier lifestyle, to have a period regularly and naturally. So well, I don't know how I will be affected by menopause, because one interesting fact about menopause is the earlier you start your period is the earlier you start your menopause. For example, my Aunt Crystal is my mom's younger sister, but she started her period when she was 13, and my mom didn't start her period till she was 15. So my mom is 46 now, and my aunt is 43. And she's beginning to go through the hot flashes and mood swings of menopause. And my mom isn't going to go through that for another couple years, because the sooner you start your period, the sooner you start menopause. And I found that very interesting because, like, a woman is born with all of the eggs that she will have for her entire life. And every period, an egg is sent out in hopes of being impregnated. But if it's not, that is when we bleed. So it's very interesting to me that the earlier you start your period, the earlier you start your menopause. So like there's a window of like the ideal time to have a child and to conceive, and that those eggs are viable. So it's very interesting to me about that, because so many people start their period at so many different ages, and more women or young girls these days are starting their periods at like 8 years old. So like by the time they're like 35 or something, they could be starting menopause. And that's going to be a huge medical issue for us to look into in the coming years. So I find that very interesting.
I did not know that.
Most people don't.
And you have to be careful too with a lot of the medications as you come up on the menopausal age. I know someone personally that lost their life that was prescribed medicine and was suffering through some different issues and no longer with us. So you have to take this very seriously. It's very, very dangerous thing if you know,
Yeah.
that you have to look out for and seek medical attention with. Nothing to play with or ignore.
No, the push of medicine in an unnecessary sense, in my opinion, is a huge part why I did not pursue the nursing career path that I was initially going down. When I was a child, I always said that I wanted to become a nurse because I wanted to help heal people and make them feel better. But when I actually became a CNA and I saw what the profession was like, and I'll admit the place that I was not very good, because honestly, I got in there without having to pass a drug test for smoking weed. So the place was already sus. And it was a dementia nursing home, which is an intense activity in and of itself. So I am aware that I did not have the best introduction to the medical field, but I am also aware that going down that path would not have made me happy in the long term. And my happiness is too important to sacrifice for a financial gain.
Exactly. But just a little bit on this day, as I learned about it, this is what they had to say. This day is observed on October 18th every year. So it's been going for a while to raise awareness about menopause and its impact on women's health. Menopause is a natural biological process that marks the end of a woman's reproductive years. It is characterized by a decline in estrogen levels, which can lead to various symptoms such as hot flashes, mood swings, and sleep disturbances. The themes for this year's World Menopause Day is Menopause Matters on Your Own Health. The theme emphasizes the importance of taking charge of your health during menopause by making informed decisions about your lifestyle, diet, and medical care. So there it is again. And I like what Robin said earlier when I was asking about this with us. This is men on pause.
Oh, that's dope.
I was
That's
like,
dope.
are you sure this is what we're talking about? I didn't know. But I want to say that I am a little older than Vanna over there. And so what has become more prominent is for people to understand that there's a phase before menopause called perimenopause, which is what a lot, it can be a 10 to 15 year span when women start actually having some of the symptoms of menopause. So I can actually remember when I first started having hot flashes and things like that. I did not know what was going on with my body. And I don't remember when I started my menstrual cycle, and probably was the same way. Like I had no idea what was going on with my body. I thought I had a fever. I thought I had, I was like, go get me some drugs. I remember I tell my friend, go get some drugs. Something's wrong with me, and I sat there and just really trying to figure out what's going on with myself. But I did learn that I did have to make a lifestyle shift in a sense that you definitely have to watch what you eat, because a lot of our food, of course, is injected with hormones and things like that have a big, it has. Once you turn 40, you can feel your body just changes anyway. But once you start going through things like perimenopause, you really have to start watching what you do and how you do it. And so before, even when you were talking about the herbs, what I didn't know even is that not all vitamins go together. So when you're taking herbs and vitamins and medicine and everything, it's amazing what works with your body and what won't work with your body. But it is definitely a process. I think I've been through all of those things that you said, the hot flashes, the bed sweats, the can't stay up, up all night. Like, that's real. It is a real thing. And it comes in ebbs and waves. 1 week you have it, the next week you won't, the next 2 months you have it, and then you don't. And, your cycles are irregular. And, I'm done trying to figure out if I'm pregnant or not. I'm clear I'm not, but things, you know, you have a cycle, but then they tell you, you know, you haven't reached menopause until it's a whole year of not 365 days. If it's 364 and you start to have a cycle, you start all over again through that cycle. So it's interesting. It's confusing. It's a little bit of everything. But what I do is I do take a holistic approach. I get acupuncture regularly. And my acupuncturist actually has given me an herbal tea that I use that really does subside when the hot flashes come. But I've also learned a lot about my body. So when I'm stressed, I'll get it. The hot flashes, okay. Like anything that affects your body will affect what comes out your body.
That's interesting. So what role is, or any, is there anything that men can do to help you ladies out when you're going through this?
Understanding that it's not just us being bitches. It's like there's a serious hormonal biological change that is going on from the time a woman starts her period to the time it ends completely. And like so much growing up, there was like all this stigma of, oh, she's just pissed off because she's got her period. Oh, she's so hormonal and crying. And it's just like understanding that just because you do not experience it does not nullify the fact that half of the population goes through this. It does not nullify that it does in fact exist. It's the same thing as that phrase. If you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Just because there's no one there to validate what you went through, it doesn't mean you didn't go through it. Just because someone can't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But can we get a warning or something at least so that we know, hey, it's menopause or it's
we don't get the warning.
We get the warning.
You want to know what it is? Shut up talking to me.
Maybe if you do more, if you observe more than you see, you would actually notice the signs and symbols. Like things start happening.
Keep in mind we are men.
No, I'm not. It's not my fault, you stupid.
Kinda.
But
we wired differently. We can't understand.
Yeah, they have no clue of what our bodies go through, and
yet they still make laws against it.
You know, but when we say what we need, then just
do you know what would happen if men? Do you know what would happen if men bled every month? And it's like,
oh, I've seen some amazing videos talking about it.
Just saying, do you understand what would happen? Is like, yo, if Shu hit me up like, yo, man, we're going out tonight, and they're like, no, man, I can't go out, man, I came on, or something like that. And do you know what would happen if we cramp? No, man, I got cramps. I'm doing it. We'd kill ourselves. It's just being soggy in the field. It's like, yeah.
What? With that being said, shout out to all the women, man. You gotta be strong people to go through that.
I also want you guys to understand that women go through different intensities of the entire cycle. My sister-in-law's periods got so bad she had to be hospitalized sometimes from the pain. Thankfully, she has an implant in her arm now and she doesn't have to deal with it anymore. But like the range of what women have to go through, like Robin was saying, like it doesn't, like there's a whole 15-year span that this could affect you. You just don't know. So like stop throwing an umbrella blanket term of like, oh, they reached this threshold, suddenly this has happened. No, it's so much more complicated than that.
What medical advice is that something that women should be asking their doctors when they go get their checkups, or is it something the doctor just automatic senses?
You know, it didn't come up for me until I felt the symptoms, and I'm like, what is the world is going on with my body? You know, and I guess that's the thing. You just don't know what's happening. And honestly, that's the same thing that happens with young ladies when they have their cycles. You know, they don't realize what's happening until it happens. you know it's coming. I know menopause is coming, but I had no idea what a hot flash was until I had a hot flash. It's like I ain't know what an orgasm was until I had an orgasm. Like you don't know it until you get there. So, sorry. Not sorry.
Shout out to all the ladies that haven't had either until later in life.
Hello, I am here.
Oh man, we got.
I guess for a man, I guess it's kind of easy. It's like, okay, you 40, you 45.
No, y'all got it easy. Like the whole process
Easier
of
than
being
women.
a
We
man
got it easier
is
than
so
women.
much easier.
I mean, because with us, it's like, okay, you 40 now. Okay, you getting 45. Okay, go get a scope up your ass.
Yeah.
It's so good,
that's the
so
worst y'all
bad.
get. You get a finger
Right.
up the ass and some pills to get hard. No, that's it. Everything else about being a woman is so hard. Like, not to get crude, like even like masturbating is so hard. Y'all just tug, done. Ours is just like find the fucking button in the maze, and that shit is ridiculous.
All right, so we officially went left.
Exactly. She turned it left.
Shout out to this episode already.
Shout out to Vanna for taking this thing left. That's what we
No.
do. No, most podcasts won't even tackle this, but like I said, we are a lifestyle podcast. And then we bring any conversation that you would find at the bar, and we bring you enlightenment, we bring a little bit of comedy, and we want to bring this education and awareness to you.
I
You know,
definitely learned a lot today.
you definitely learned, because I had no damn idea. You know, I knew of menopause. I heard the term menopause, and I knew that it was something would happen, but you know, Vanna and Robin brought new light to some things I had, and I guess I wouldn't know this.
Yeah, man. You know, it's definitely insightful. I'm glad we had this topic because now
like,
I can say, I know what's going on with you.
Yeah. So we won't be on the internet. So if you're on the internet bashing women and everything and saying, oh, the women are bitches, I took this girl out, she did this, or this lady out on a date, find out that she's menopausal. We'll chalk it up to that game. She could be menopausal.
Oh, don't do that. Oh,
Not
goodness.
giving them an excuse. No.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just bitches. Just mean.
There are so many different stages that women go through. So, you know, we haven't even talked about, you know, the in between, like once they have children, that's a whole different beast. Definitely men cannot handle the pregnancy.
No.
Definitely men cannot handle the birth. You know, but then once again, it changes everything in your body once you have children. Your hormone levels are off.
Because a lot of women now are having children later in life. So I wonder if that delays the menopause.
Yeah, I don't understand why. But and I'm I mean, and because it's a lot. Like I love where I am right now because my son is older and I can do what I want. Like I have so many friends that I'm so free, and they are, I'm not gonna say burdened with children, but they're doing family time with kids and stuff like that. And so it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely
So what about not subscribers? The Unicorn put out there. There's a great book called Menopausal Years by Women's Way by Susan S. Weed, a great read for women in either phase. So shout out to the Unicorn for that advice.
Mm-hmm.
She heavy in the comments too, bro. Like I be seeing her on the Facebook page too. Shout out to her for interacting with us.
And she mentioned 2 other herbs, chickweed, elderflower, and bach are great herbs for hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that's like the most important thing for anyone to do in any situation is just educate yourself about, if you don't know, we live in the internet age where you can literally look up anything at the tip of your I didn't know anything about the draft today until I looked this up at 3 o'clock. And like, just literally look it up.
Too. So go ahead. That's the perfect segue into this.
I mean, I ain't trying to steal it. So if anyone has anything else they want to say, thank you for the books. I think it's important.
Your thoughts on the draft, because I have questions there too.
Draft or just a draft period.
You talking about women going to draft?
Yes,
Yeah,
there is a current law trying to
Yes.
be passed that would force women to be drafted into the military
Mhm.
because of everything that's going on in Ukraine and Israel, and there's other stuff that's about to burst. So it is scary, scary times. So
Mhm.
I was doing a lot of research earlier, and I was doing my best to experience both sides of the story and deliver proper information without bias. I will admit that I got pretty angry and I had to go hug my dogs during this. So I'm going to do my best to not get triggered. So the age of the draft is 18 to 25 years old. I, as a 23-year-old woman, would fall into this category, and it terrifies me. I personally see this bill as another distraction to cause upset amongst our citizens, trying to itemize and divide an already torn country. But I would do feel like it is important to speak on both sides of this coin to help people understand. First, you actually need to understand what is the draft. It's been over 50 years since the United States has had to initiate the Selective Service System, which is the term in the military for the draft, the Selective Service System. So if anyone goes and does research for this, I have sent Shu all of my links that I have put into this, and I'm sure he's going to drop it. The Selective Service System is in reference to the draft. It was the last case of the draft was 1973 in the Vietnam War. So this has not happened in my lifetime. This has not happened in my mom's lifetime. It has been over 50 years since we have had to do this. The point of the draft is to fill the rapidly falling soldiers in the time of war. This only applies to biologically born men. I mention this because trans women that were born as men would still fall into the category of being drafted because biologically they were born as a male. But this does not go vice versa. So if you were a trans man, you were born as a woman and transitioned to a male, you would not legally have to be drafted. And there are several reasons why a man you would not be sent to war during the draft. And these are also reasons that you would not be administered if you voluntarily went into the military. There are chronic illnesses and diseases that impair your general health, such as cancer, consumption, or tuberculosis. Diseases of the brain, spine, heart, lungs, liver, spleen, chronic pain, things that impact your general health, mental incapabilities, such as mental retardation or an IQ between 20 and 50, insanity, epilepsy, brain or skull injury, heavy use of recreational vices such as alcoholism or drug abuse. If this is a chronic thing for you, you cannot be drafted into the military because it is a bad habit and something wrong with you. Body deformities and abnormalities such as paralysis, limb atrophies, feeble constitutions. Think Captain America before the serum. He has a very weak body, he has a small barrel chest, things that impede your respiration, spinal curvatures, chest deformations, syphilis that has impacted the mind, even like injuries to your toes, like clubfoot, is a reason to not be inducted into the military.
Hey, Vanna, you said consumption of alcohol?
No, consumption is another term for the disease of tuberculosis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if that was it, I'm good.
No. Like excessive, like heavy, like you need to
25.
go to AA, alcoholism or drug abuse, that you will not be allowed to be administered into or indoctrinated into the military. Probably not using.
And smoking right before they come get you. That's when you right back home.
Yeah. Diseases and disabilities that affect a person's everyday life, such as blindness, deafness, loss of a voice, loss of a tongue, amputation to the nose, which is one I found interesting. Loss of teeth, obesity, hernias, artificial anus, hemorrhoids. A partial loss to the penis would prevent you from joining the military.
Hold on, go back. You said artificial penis?
Yeah, partial or total loss of the penis and atrophy to the testicles are both things that would prevent you from joining the military. And I
You
have
get
found
an
that
artificial anus. I mean, yeah.
That shit got me itching,
Unless you
bro.
got a
Go back to that.
BBL,
Never
you
heard
got a
of that.
All
BBL,
you motherfuckers with your concrete asses, y'all ain't got to worry about it.
yeah, you got a BBL, you good.
I knew this. I knew y'all was gonna take it there. Yeah.
Some BBL's good.
I
for
knew that.
something.
That's why I saved it for last of that section. I knew it was
I
going to
couldn't
go off
wait
the
to get
road.
it out.
All right. We aren't the first country to start talking about these changes. Last year, Ukraine extended the draft to cover women ages from 18 to 60 would be required to enlist in the military in
Your
times of
mama ain't
war.
fucking going in the army.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is important to note that Ukraine has a much smaller population than the United States. The entirety of Ukraine's population is 43.79 million citizens, and that is only 7.5 of the US population.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And I want to make it clear that I am not choosing either side for the draft of women or against the draft of women. I personally think war is an unnecessary thing that just breeds hate and more hate that is never going to end. I do support soldiers, however. I do not support war. I support soldiers. Ever since I was a kid, and still to this day, if I see a soldier in uniform or a man that says they're a veteran, I will thank them for their service and the sacrifice that they have done. I've had military in my family from my grandfather to my brother right now in Barksdale Air Force Base. Women volunteers currently make up about 14% of the military. Most choose non-combat positions such as mechanical or intelligence. Since 2014, they have been able to take on roles that they were previously barred against, such as aviation and close combat. And these roles are not to be overlooked by saying that they are doing less. They call it the tooth and nail ratio, combat to support. For every one combat soldier, they need 4 support soldiers to make sure that they do their jobs properly. Now, there isn't really a way to talk about this without pointing out the work that women have done to have equality in this country, to be on an equal stance with men. And I have seen some very irritating people say like, oh, you want equality? Then do this and you can fight in the war. And it's just like, oh, if you're a feminist, you have to fight in the war. And I'm like, why are you only giving us the equality when it works for you? And like, it's a double-edged sword entirely, because women still have discrimination in the workforce and in politics, in the world in general. You are seen as lesser by a woman. There are some Christian churches that won't even have a women minister because they say it is against the Bible. And I ain't even getting on that topic.
No.
And so like, they are constantly taking away women's rights to abortions, to safely be in their bodies, and then sending us off to war with a mask of equality. Now, people are against this for various different reasons. I don't even like quoting this woman, but some like Marjorie Taylor Greene state that due to the fact that women are not as physically adept as men, and the influx of women would lead to greater war casualties and lessen our military prowess. She also states that women do not have the same survival rate as men on the battlefield. Another woman states that women are too emotional, and the rational skills of women are not conducive to being on the front grounds. The woman states that women do not have the quick thinking skills to be an effective soldier, and that it isn't fair to the men whose lives are dependent on the women that they are fighting beside to save them. There are people that are turning this into an equal rights battle, and in doing research today, I found a very irritating interview of a man stating that male votes should count more than women votes because women are not eligible for the draft. There are other ethical issues that we face with drafting women into wars, such as if a woman was taken as a prisoner of war, she would likely be subject to sexual assault from one or more parties as a form of torture that would lead to permanent physical, mental, and emotional harm. If she was even released from her captors, she would likely be pregnant, and in that situation, forced to go back home to a country that would not allow her to abort the raped child and forced to raise it or put it in the foster care system. Not to mention the risk factor that they have from their own side. Women in the military are constantly raped by their comrades because they think they have a position of power, they have access to weapons, they have inflated egos. And yes, some men in the military are honorable and deserve respect, but not all are. And so women face as many dangers overseas as they do in their own country, fighting for their country. I'm aware that this is a controversial subject and that there is no right answers. I don't want men to be drafted as much as I don't want women to be drafted. But part of the reason why women were not drafted is the protection and insurance of future generations. If we send women off to war, who are we protecting but the politicians and businesses that already run this country? The millionaires who are not affected by this economic crisis that the rest of us face, the people making decisions that have no impact on them and change the lives of people they claim to protect. There is no right answer. There is no easy way out. Either millions of young people will die, either overseas fighting a war that started over pettiness, or by taking their own lives because they cannot deal with what they had to do or what they had to endure. Next time you want someone to fight a war, look at your son playing with his Legos, look at your daughter drawing, and remember that there are people on that side that have children, families, people to protect, yes. But can we reach a day where war is a distant memory? Can we pray for a time where humans aren't the barbaric animals we claim to be better than? If you want to prove you're the smartest species on the planet, stop destroying it yourselves and speak to each other's. We have words for a reason.
Very good.
What?
First of all, that was powerful, Vanna. First of all, I want to say I am 100% against women in combat. I don't care about the feminist movement or whatever you got going. What serious nation send their women out to fight for them? I can't see it. Maybe it's the old school and me. I have not adapted to the time. That's kind of like somebody break into your house and you stay in the bed and send your wife to go check it out with a weapon to defend you. I can't do it. I mean, I'm just too old school for me. I don't see women in combat ever, unless every man has died first. If every man in the United States has gotten killed, and now it's time for a woman to come in to fight to protect the children. Two, since this is World Menopause Day, I have questions. First of all, can a woman be on the front line and serving combat roles if she's on her cycle and going through things like menopause? It's so many factors in there to consider. When you in combat, it's stressful among men. So I just can't see a woman on her cycle in a jungle or creeping through a field or something like that, where you got an enemy soldier. They've gotten smart now. They got animals and dogs and everything, and you sleeping with snakes. Or even like you look at a Navy SEAL, they got to come aboard water. You may be in water for a while, creeping through swamps or whatever. And I just can't see a woman, she got to change a pad, not changing the pad, and is giving off a scent to animals that animals can pick up on. It's just so much to consider. I'm not trying to be funny there, but it's like, woman, I just can't see a woman bleeding for a whole week, not changing the pad, and she's behind a bush covered in mud or whatever, sniping somebody.
No, and
I don't understand how that works.
Well,
it is important to have women in our military, and there are
I'm
like
not
women
saying in the military.
there are
I'm
women
saying
specific.
Yeah.
Like
so
that's why they don't choose combat roles. They choose support roles. They choose
shouldn't be
connected
given the
roles and
option to
ambassador
become
roles.
they give them options. So I'm all over the place with this issue because one, I think that they have to open it up to everyone because the world is changing and the kids today are not our generation. Right. So it's a different beast. They are not able to pass the regular tests to just get into, they can't pass. They're having troubles with the ASVAB. They're having problems with the physical tests that it takes to get into the military. And I think that when you have a small pool, they have to strategically figure out how can they broaden that pool. Well, guess what? Women's right is a great way to try to open it up and make it look like it may be one thing, but still have different expectations. Now, Ali, like I grew up, my family, all the men in my family are military. And I always had a problem with my uncle that was high ranking on a Navy ship. And he couldn't stand for women to be on his ship. But I understand the circumstances that we put people in, because when you have a ship that is enclosed full of men and you have women, what does that bring up?
Nature gonna take over.
It really didn't have anything to do with a woman's capability, but it comes down to the human nature and what happens to people when they are confined for months at a time. And that was specifically on it. I didn't understand that being younger, but I do understand that now, where it may be.
I did actually find that exact situation, Robin, in doing the research. 2003, the USS Abraham Lincoln, I believe it was based out of Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Within the first 7 weeks or so, they had to send home 20 of their women soldiers because they were pregnant.
Right.
And that is a huge influx of attention to their location, resources, decreasing in people that they have on board. And so, like, of course, if women want to voluntarily join the military, they absolutely should. I support you. More power to you. Thank you for making the rest of us stronger. Thank you for representing the rest of us. But like, as someone who knows that if I went into a military situation, that would mentally destroy me, because like I have worked very hard to undo the programming that was put on me in school, trying to make me a person that I am not. I've worked very hard to undo that programming. And to be put back into a situation where they literally try to strip you of everything that makes you who you are and make you a mindless drone to follow out their orders, I would off myself. I couldn't do it.
But that's men and women. So that's where I really try to be fair about this situation, because that's men and women right there.
I don't think that the draft, y'all really got to worry about it. It's enough men, like Alex, it's enough stand-up men in the U.S. Like, we will volunteer before we let y'all go fight a war.
But I don't think they're giving us an option, though. I think they're trying to make a political stand and a scare tactic on this. So, right now, politics in the United States is crazy. It doesn't make sense at all. So,
but
I'm just sure they won't let women go be drafted, or even draft men in this, if it happens, upcoming draft. I don't understand. Well, they say, I guess the draft numbers are low.
I would be concerned if they drafted young men of 18 years old right now across the board. I would be concerned for my well-being and for their well-being. That's real. Like, I would not send a child in 2023 because they are still very much a child. You think about it, they've been set back COVID and all this other stuff. There is no way that child has the common sense.
Yep.
Because you got to strategize when you are there. It doesn't matter, male or female. You got to know what you're doing.
I'm 23. I'll speak for this generation. We're idiots. We're freaking stupid. We need pods.
Well, let's back up a little bit now, because I joined the military when I was 18, and that's a lot of things that I tell my kids now.
Different generation.
At 22, 23, I was living in Okinawa, Japan, 2 cars, a wife, and 2 kids, and I was traveling to Turkey, and the responsibility was different. Now,
you didn't have social media.
That's true too. I got one now. Hell, I wouldn't let her go cross town by herself. Let alone across the country. The millennials have changed, but once that gunfire go off, you're gonna grow up real quick.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna die.
And we talked about, like, even before, when we were talking about the food, the chemicals that these kids take in, and they're not ready. They're not, they are, I can't even imagine. Like, I remember when I was in 11th grade, they took all the girls in my class and they put us on the side of the mountain and they said, we see y'all in 2 days, right? I can't imagine this generation being able to function.
But they gotta figure. But keep in mind. But this generation got to figure it out. This is their future. They got to figure it out. The future is turned over to them.
There are people that just like don't even want to do that. Did y'all see the woman that has legitimately sued her parents for giving birth to her because she didn't realize that she was going to have to get a job and support herself? This woman legitimately sued her parents and won because her parents did not contact a psychic medium and ask for her consent to be born.
I got one daughter.
That is the only reaction to have, Emred. That is the only reaction to have.
I got one daughter that may try something like that. I could see her doing that.
I mean, they're not held accountable for what they do, you know, and the military has changed what they can do, just like the sports has changed what they can do, you know, and it's just
that's crazy.
I mean, in school we can't even have a real dodgeball. we got
oh man, we used to light your ass up boy back in the day.
You can't even walk around school with a backpack anymore. You have to have a clear backpack or haul all of that yourself.
Absolutely. And they don't even want to hold it themselves. Like, I have a mobile office. The kids throw their stuff on because they don't want to hold it. And I'm like, dude, take it. You know,
can I read this in here?
No. Want to do anything.
I do want to say for
it's not everybody. It's not everybody, but whoop.
But I do want to say real quick for anybody that's have suffered, that has been in war, if you're a woman that has been molested or have any type of issues while serving or have served in the past. In our last episode, we have somebody for you. You can email us. We have Coach Jay Reed, and he's an expert at getting military vets their benefits. So if you are a woman or male, or anybody that has suffered or had any type of military injury or whatever, we have an expert that we can pair you with that can help you get the necessary help and benefits that you are entitled to. So if that's your case,
I want to interject. I will be putting the link to this in this video, so it will be in the comments. Just wanted to say that. Y'all did.
Okay, cool. Sure, for putting that out there. Jay Reed, he's an expert and he can help you with that. And his episode airs some time in the future.
His episode will be airing on November 11th on Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yeah. For Veterans Day. We'll be putting it out.
Oh, that's dope.
He's an expert at getting military veterans their benefits. So just wanted to throw that out there. But I just, like I said, I support women in the military, but I don't support women frontline combat.
Nah, I'm with you on that.
Nah, I don't see it and I don't understand it.
I'm pretty sure y'all capable of doing it, but it's like a moral thing for me.
Yeah, I don't think
exactly.
I don't think any nation in the history of people has had to have this conversation.
Man, we shouldn't be having it.
We shouldn't. We should. But then again, we're still trying to define, and no shade towards anybody, but again, I guess we're still trying to define what is a woman.
Yeah, because they changed it, didn't they?
Yeah, so I guess the conversation will come in because we don't know what a woman is right now, or a man, I guess. So I guess it makes it dicey.
Humans.
I didn't think we could go no further left.
I mean, because there's a divide. We are different, and like I said,
we are.
Women should not do what men do. Men should not do what women do. We have separate missions. Meet you at the top.
Yeah.
I don't need a one. I don't need somebody. I don't need another me in life to sit there with me and my features. I need the opposite of me. There is power in being you. I've seen the smallest woman, the smallest 4'5", 4'2" woman can bring a 6'7" dude down to his knees, begging.
Nah, man, women are definitely powerful, man, in their own right, man. You're not saying that you guys are not capable. None of that.
They create us. They raise us.
Exactly. For the most part, especially in the Black community, women are raising all of us.
Exactly. They raised, like you said, we got strong women. We're raised by women.
Raised by women, man. Raised by them. So,
That point. So they shape us, you know. They're the first love of our lives. And so it's like you come from a woman, and some of us that's on the straight path, we return to a woman.
Well, listen, man.
And there's no knock against anybody. I mean, you love who you love, you do you, but in the natural course of things, well, I can't say that either. And what I believe is the natural course of things, that's the way things happen, you know. But women are very powerful.
Definitely.
And I think they're being jilted out of their power, chasing other things, trying to be men. No, the power is in being a woman.
Yep.
Mm.
And that's well said, bro. That's well said.
You will get nowhere arguing with a man. The only thing men know how to do is battle and war. If you go with a man, you're gonna get war. You're gonna get a battle. I think there was a video on Facebook where it was a bouncer from what I seen. It was a female was a bouncer from what I seen in this video, and she was alternative. So here we are, you got these 300-400-pound bouncers. They wanted to put her out for some reason. I guess she got fired or whatever. But it's just walking on. That incoming man would have looked at this big fella. Me, myself, as a man, would have looked at this brother, and one thing would have came to my head: this is a big brother. I got to pack a lunch if I'm gonna take him. By him unnecessarily. I'll give you a perfect example. When I lived in Atlanta, one time I had just got my bartender license and I was working at a hotel. There was this guy, Tulu. Shout out to Tulu if you're still living wherever you're out there. And so basically I worked for this hotel. It wasn't what I expected. It was like I forget what they call it, where you go manpower type job or whatever. But I wanted some experience bartending. Well, I get there and it's like they got me fixing tables and everything, and it's for this science convention or whatever. So I never will forget, Tulu was a straight ass. You do this, he's African. You get this and that. And I remember I'm not liking it. So I was trying to pull wine for this couple, and the couple was the dude, he was being an ass. Like, you didn't offer the lady, well, the lady didn't ask for wine. So I'm fixing wine and everything. And so the video comes on. So Tulu comes out there and Tulu starts screaming, you get out there. I told you when the screen comes on, you leave. You know, you want wine and everything. And Tulu pissed me off. But I had to think about that thing. I wanted to whoop Tulu's ass. But the brain said, wait a minute, Tulu is African. I'm looking at Tulu's shoulders, looking how Tulu moved. I was like, I don't know. This might go wrong if I swing on Tulu. Tulu might give me, he already embarrassed, but Tulu might give me an ass whooping on top of that. I may have to suffer with Tulu. So I might have to reevaluate this thing and take a negotiated route. So there was this other white dude that was with me.
Decision.
Yeah, it was another white dude that was, he like, man, let's go. You with me? Yeah, let's go. Right, but walk route, and we left that boy. But she bucked up at this big 300-something pound, like, oh God, if you hit me, I'm gonna spray you. And he wasn't one that was raised by women, obviously, because he whooped her ass. He drove her out there. Because things you just shouldn't do.
Yeah, you gotta make executive decisions,
different.
Man.
You know, think different. You can think some things too.
Every action has a positive and a negative reaction.
Yes.
Which one would you rather deal with, the negative or the positive? You got to look at both.
Women, stop provoking these men. Some of them have no filter. Some of these guys got mental problems. Some of them been locked up. They will kill you. They will hurt you. And I don't want to hear that. A man hit a woman. I agree. But that don't mean because it's not supposed to be done, don't mean it will not be done. Don't put yourself in harm's way. If you're having a hot flash or you're going through menopause, just say, look, I'm going through something, brother. Back up off me. I'm having a hot flash. I'm having a mood swing.
Well, you'll never get that.
We'll say it. Don't matter if you listen or not. That's
No,
on you.
no, I wouldn't say that.
Probably.
But it starts earlier.
took
These
a
girls
while.
are at a young.
Yeah.
The little
gotta-
girls are aggressive in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
mean,
Well, it took me a
I'm-
while to appreciate that. I ain't gonna even cap. Like, are you and your parents? What that mean, man? Come on, we still got stuff to do. But now,
Mhm.
I've been married for a while. It's like, oh man, you need to lay down. I got it. Go ahead.
oh, see,
And like honestly, that's the best thing you can do. Understand what they're going through. Ask them if they need anything, and if they need a rest, for God's sake, let them rest.
Yeah,
You
nah.
take the kids for an afternoon.
Like,
You
that
do
comes
something with
with
them.
age and experience, though, especially on our part.
it really does.
On our part, we have to learn that because your mama ain't teaching you that because it's
Mm.
personal, and your daddy ain't teaching it because he been getting cussed out at. So he ain't teaching you that. So you have to learn stuff like that on your own. Dealing with you got to be in a relationship long enough to go through it to learn it. That's how
And
I
I
feel.
think that they have more access now, so that's huge. They have access to find out on their own.
True that. You know,
So,
I'm an '80s baby, so you know, we're no internet and stuff like that.
I'm 70s baby, so I get.
Well, this was a very interesting episode as we come to a close. I hope you all found it as interesting as I did. I actually learned something. So, men, if you got women that's menopausal or going through a cycle, be patient with them, help them out. Have some compassion, listen to them.
There you go. Just have compassion. They might
Get
not
up
even,
the ice cream.
That's
they
it.
might not even want your help. Just pay attention. That's all you gotta do. Just pay attention. Know your boundaries.
It really means so much
It
to a
does.
woman when someone just comes in and says, like, I know that this is what happens when you go through that. That level of attention and being seen means so much to a woman and a man. Like, just being seen, and like the nonverbal stuff is so important in a relationship. So like, pay
Definitely.
attention to your partner, pay attention to your friends. There's a lot going on under the surface. Everyone is fighting a war you know nothing about. Please be patient with people. Please be kind to people. And just don't be a dick.
Use it, don't be one. Yeah, use it, but don't be one.
Yeah, use it, but don't be one. Hell yeah.
Use it a
Great
lot.
episode. Great.
Use it regularly.
Great
Use
episode,
it, but don't
everybody.
be one. I love it.
Oh shit.
Let's not draft our women.
Right. Leave them alone, man. Let them stay at home. Shit. It's already hard to raise kids.
Women, take care of yourselves. Make sure you're getting your checkups and everything and seeking medical attention, getting pap smears or whatever it takes. We have everything that we talked about in the link.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
share this with somebody that you think that this episode may benefit.
If you don't know anything we talk about, look it up.
Hey,
Well, you can always email us. We'll even send you the references.
That's what it's for, man.
Without facts
We do
on
have
this.
to work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
For the most
We
part,
brought you
yeah.
to where they used to say, for those that are old enough to know what G.I. Joe is, now you know and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah,
my
no,
God.
it's
Agent
happening.
myself.
I love it.
Well, if you're going through menopause right now, then you know what G.I. Joe is. Exactly. So
Play
that's
dumb.
what I need to
Dead
know.
ass.
Facts.
Exactly. Those are
That's funny.
facts.
That's funny.
Until next Wednesday, and we go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't be afraid to join us. Jump on her. We may even send you a link till you come into the show.
Yeah, you can jump in the
The
comments.
questions
I
you
got
come.
something to say. We'll bring you right on up in this camp.
Everybody got something to
Yeah.
say. It's time to say it.
It looked like Smitty Boy was trying to hop in and one of it.
Oh, we got Smitty Boy pasta
Yeah.
day.
Next
I want
week,
to see some pasta, Smitty Boy. We're
ah,
gonna get Smitty in there.
he definitely. We got to have more next week. We talking.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get him.
I need that. I need that authentic Italiano.
I went to Italy earlier this year with my kids, and I have my whole pasta maker and everything here.
Oh, good though.
Well, maybe
flowers.
you need to make some. Maybe you need to
boy.
come back next week with some pasta.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Right.
There is nothing like Italian pot like what we have here.
I bet it's way different.
It's way different.
Oh my God.
Chicken
you-
Alfredo is not a thing. Chicken Alfredo is entirely American.
Absolutely.
I love spaghetti.
That's true. Well, y'all need to come back next week and we can have that debate.
Got it.
Can I eat spaghetti on a live next week?
Bring spaghetti.
If you
That's
mute
what we do.
yourself.
Bring spaghetti. We're gonna eat spaghetti together.
Bet.
We're gonna have world spaghetti thing. Yeah.
With it.
Right.
I'm gonna mute
Wednesday.
y'all.
That's my
Till
wife.
next time,
Look at some-
be easy and be safe out there.
Be easy. I want to thank the ladies for coming in.
Always. Absolutely.
Thank y'all for having us. It's always fun.
No.
Robin, it was a pleasure to meet you, darling.
Same with you, Vanna. I appreciate that.
Welcome back, Robin. This was the third time you've been on here? Man,
I know. I actually love you guys a lot.
man,
We love you too. We gotta get you a
Yeah.
shirt. I get you a shirt and a hoodie.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get you one. We'll get you one put in.
Mhm.
It's your cue to end our live.